Hello and welcome. This is your host Bianca Saurashri, and we'll be bringing to you some of the prominent news stories from across the world. Let's have a look at the headlines. After the royal sermon, Curry leads Washington march. Harvey Weinstein arraigned on felony sex charges. Celebrations as exit polls suggest Irish voters have repealed abortion ban. The Hollywood Reporter's editorial director discusses the harassment accusations against Morgan Freeman. Powerful cyclone lashes Oman, leaving at least one dead. Peru beats Russia in Lima Prison World Cup football tournament. Let's have a look at the stories in detail. 5 days after delivering a sermon at the royal wedding of British Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, Bishop Michael Curry led a march to the White House, followed by a candlelight vigil. Curry is the first African American to serve as the head of the United States Episcopal Church. According to sources in an interview with the Associated Press, Curry said that the contemporary political, social and racial divisions are bad for democracy, as if somebody just woke up Jim Crow.
The truth is, when we only have relationships with people who agree with us or people who are like us, that diminishes democracy. And that's what I mean by kind of like somebody that woke up Jim Crow. And he said, oh no, yeah, we'll do a little racial separation, but let's keep going on. Let's separate people by political ideology. Let's separate them by, who knows what. That is not healthy for a democracy.
Religious leaders need to overcome divisions by drawing values regarding love for one's neighbor and the Golden Rule. He urged Christians in particular to draw from their own tradition in finding ways to create a democracy that draws people to come together and overcome bigotry and violence.
Actually, Jesus gave us some pretty practical moral guidance on not what to do specifically, but on how to do it and the motivation for it. And I think if we ask those kinds of values-based questions of ourselves, for me, grounded in the teachings of Jesus, then the policy consideration, then you bring everybody to the table. Because then it gets practical. Well, how do we actually live out that value? And there are a variety of ways. Nobody's got a corner on the best way to do this stuff.
Harvey Weinstein had been arraigned on rape, criminal sex act and sexual charges stemming from encounters with 2 women. The former powerhouse movie producer starred grimly as he appeared in a Manhattan court. He agreed to pay $1 billion cash bail, wear an electronic monitor and not travel beyond New York and Connecticut. According to reports, Harvey Weinstein didn't enter a plea. That's common at this stage in a criminal case in New York. Weinstein had consistently denied an allegation of non-consensual sex. He turned himself to face the first criminal case brought after scores of women made sexual harassment and assault allegations against him.
People are filing felony grand jury notice and are reserving identification notice. Your Honor, the defendant is before the court charged with 2 violent B felonies for 2 separate forcible sexual assaults against 2 different women. The charges here today are a result of months of investigation and deliberate analysis of the evidence and the law. That investigation revealed that this defendant used his position, money, and power to lure young women into situations where he was able to violate them sexually. Our investigation is ongoing, and we have encouraged other survivors to come forward.
The claims destroyed his career and set off a national reckoning over sexual misconduct known as the Me Too movement.
Furthermore, Your Honor, we are requesting 1 temporary order of protection and asking, however, that the name of the victim in that order of protection will be known to the court, the people, and the defendant, but otherwise be under seal.
If you violate any of the conditions in the order of protection, you're subject to arrest. Do you understand that?
Women across Ireland celebrated projections by 2 major exit polls showing that Irish voters have repealed a constitutional ban on abortions. According to reports, the exit polls projected a landslide victory for the Yes forces seeking to liberalize the strict abortion ban.
I was ecstatic because it could have been such a close call, and I think a lot of us were expecting a no. So just to see that it was, it seemed to be like a pretty enthusiastic yes, that was amazing.
In Dublin, people gathered in front of a wall in Temple Bar, where hundreds of post-its carried messages in support for repealing the 8th Amendment and legalizing abortion. According to sources, one of them read, "Woman, freedom, yes," where many were surprised by the large margins projected by the polls.
Yeah, I just heard the exit poll and it's really great news. Really, it's going to change a lot of things.
The exit polls are only projections and official vote counts are expected to come next week. If the yes vote is confirmed, Ireland's parliament will be tasked with writing new regulations on abortion.
Yes, I know that, and I'm very happy about that.
Why is it important?
It is important for women to take their decisions on their own. Why should we really wait for, the doctors to say no and, suffer our own lives?
Oscar-winning actor Morgan Freeman has apologized after CNN reported that multiple women accused the A-list actor of sexual harassment and inappropriate behavior on movie sets and in other professional settings. Matthew Bellany, editorial director at The Hollywood Reporter, says that these latest accusations point to the massive shift in Hollywood following the allegations of sexual misconduct against Harvey Weinstein, which sparked a national reckoning. On 25th of May, Weinstein was arrested on rape charges in New York, and he consistently denied any allegations of non-consensual sex. Freeman apologized on 24th of May to anyone who may have felt uncomfortable or disrespected by his behavior. Several women alleged that he made frequent comments about their bodies or would stare at them in ways that made them feel uncomfortable.
Today was an extraordinary day in Hollywood history. Harvey Weinstein, one of the most admired and at times feared moguls in the industry, was arrested and charged with rape in New York. In the courtroom, which the proceeding lasted about 90 minutes, we're told, he was formally charged. There are 2 counts of rape, and and he formally pled not guilty. Then he was escorted out of the courthouse and he was given a $1 million bail and asked to wear an ankle bracelet. He was told that he cannot travel anywhere except for Connecticut and New York, and he was told to return to court July 30th.
The CNN report also cited accounts by 3 entertainment reporters of inappropriate remarks they alleged Freeman made at press junkets.
Many areas of Hollywood, there is an exhale today because there is some sense of not necessarily justice, but catharsis, in that what people kind of knew for many, many years, and certainly have known since October 5th, which was the day the first New York Times story came out, that has been vindicated in a small way by this arrest. These cases are notoriously difficult to prove in a court of law. The first Bill Cosby trial ended in a mistrial. They couldn't get a conviction. The second trial, interestingly, the big difference between the first and second was that the judge in the second trial allowed more women to come forward in court and tell their story. It's called prior bad acts witnesses, and more women were allowed to tell the story, and many observers believe that that was the turning point. That was what got in front of the jury and said, you know what, not only is this woman telling the story, but here are these other women who are saying it happened to them and it happened in the same way. And I think the key thing about the Harvey Weinstein trial is going to be how many women are going to be allowed to tell their story in court.
Peninsula drenching arid Oman and Yemen with rain, cutting off power lines and leaving at least 1 dead and 40 missing, as said by the officials. Portions of Salalah, which is Oman's 3rd largest city, lost electricity as the cyclone made landfall. The Arabian Sea angrily cheered on Saturday morning, sending mounds of sea foam into the air. The waves ate into the one tourist beach, pulling hunks of it away and toppling thatch umbrellas cemented into the sand. The police said that at least 1 person and a 12-year-old girl died in Oman, and 40 others are missing from the Yemeni island of Socotra, which earlier took the storm's brunt. India's meteorological department said that the storm packed maximum sustainable winds of 105 to 111 miles per hour, with gusts of up to 124 miles per hour. Peru beats Russia in a mock-up of the World Cup held in Lima. The soccer competition is held every year for inmates incarcerated in Peru state prisons. This year, the theme of the tournament was the World Cup, with participating teams representing various participating countries. The two teams making it to the finals were those from San Pedro prison, representing Peru, and the Chimbote prison, playing as Russia. According to reports, spectators at the game played inside Lima's main monumental stadium were prison workers who cheered on their favorite team and prison guards who stood watch to make sure none of the players escaped the confines of the stadium. The annual Prison Soccer Championship is an activity coordinated by the government to aid prisoner rehabilitation efforts and to improve prison morale.
Ya tenemos un ganador.
Well, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching.